Hey, what's up, and welcome back to Ripe Reviews. And today we're talking about Doctor Strange from 1978.
I mean, Joe just, I'm Sean O'Rourke, first of all.
Yes. Oh, and I'm Joe Lascola, by the way.
Joe just teleported us, I guess, into the Multiverse of Madness? Well, I don't know. What was that?
Wong gave me one of those sling rings, and here we are. We're in the Sanctum Video Sanctorum.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. No, yeah. It lines up. There's some glass somewhere around here. It's
possible.
Whatever that
There's definitely a magic happening.
Yes.
It emanates.
Glass, that's the word.
Yes. Oh, stained glass. Rawhead Rex, of course. The stained glass with the pagan god's face on it.
Or in this movie that we're going to mention, I'm sure, at some point.
Oh, yeah. So Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness has been out for a few weeks now.
Yes.
And I want to talk a little bit about that before we kind of get into this. And a non-spoilery Multiverse of Madness.
Before we talk about, I guess, the OG Doctor Strange movie that only just came out on Blu-ray.
Yeah, this is the OG, man.
So what
did you think of? Do you like Doctor Strange as a character in the Marvel comics?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I've never actually picked up a Doctor Strange comic, like his own series, but he's one of those characters that when he popped up in other things, I always enjoyed him.
Oh, big time. And he was a big part of the Infinity Saga. I think he's a fucking great character. Mm-hmm. And it's so cool that he has like the magical abilities, the Master of the Mystic Arts and all that kind of stuff. So I'm totally into that and all the cosmic stuff that kind of comes along with that.
I agree.
So I always thought that was a neat portion of that. Portion of the comic books and the character itself. The character of Doctor Strange gets created in 1963.
Wow.
And he's like in his one-off like little comic thing, or like little like a few panels, right, or what have you. Ditko and Lee, Stan Lee doing the magic that they always do.
Literally this time, creating magic on the paper.
Well, he used to be when he was first introduced, dude. He was the user of black magic.
Okay,
it was like Doctor Strange, the black magic
because he's strange, obviously.
Well, yeah. And then I just thought that was kind of neat because as we get to this film, the mysticism and kind of things at the time in the 60s and the psychedelia and all that kind of stuff is pretty interesting.
Yeah,
how that all lines up. But yeah, back to our topic on the Multiverse of Madness.
The new one. The one made in released in 2022, the Sam Raimi movie.
Well, I just want to preface it with that fact because the first Doctor Strange Marvel movie is super accurate to the actual origin story in the comics.
Yeah, with him crashing his car, and he's a surgeon, and his hands get fucked up.
Yeah, he fucks up his hands, and then he seeks out the Ancient One to get the different kind of healing, the alternative healing, rather.
Tilda Swinton, by the way.
It
doesn't even need to be said, but what an amazing casting that was.
Oh, big time.
I like that movie a lot. I haven't actually revisited it. I think I watched it one other time after theaters, and I think it's great. It's just not one I would reach for.
Okay.
But yeah, he's great in Avenger, I guess it was Endgame, or Infinity War, I guess. Which one comes first? I forget.
Infinity War and then Endgame.
Yeah. I guess he is in Endgame. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I guess is it even considered a cameo if he's like a main character in Spider-Man No Way Home?
I mean, he is a main character, but he's just there to drive that multiverse plot.
Yeah, he's great in that.
I really like Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, he nails the character.
Doctor Strange for sure.
Agree.
I like that first movie a lot. Mm-hmm. So I was psyched for Multiverse of Madness.
Same.
And I feel bad for that dude who got kicked off the production, but I
read about that.
But
yeah.
Sam Raimi came back. I mean, there's videos covering that. We're not going into that shit, but seeing Sam Raimi come back to do a superhero movie was awesome, and there was a lot of cool shit in Multiverse of Madness, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's like there's you can't say a ton. Like if we're trying not to get heavy into spoilers.
Yeah, I just like general thoughts.
I guess I'll keep it like very light. Because I was talking to you about this after I saw it. Because I liked it a lot. I just really had nitpicky issues with it, and then I'll talk positive.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a spoiler the way I'm wording this, but some of the cameos I was super into, and some I was like, huh, that's a thing. I wish I got a little bit more of that, but without saying it, that's just kind of how I felt about that aspect of the film. But everything, like them going through the different dimensions, there's an amazing montage halfway through the film where they go through like a paint dimension, which was like, I wasn't expecting that. And the character of American Chavez, I heard she's a little different in the comics after talking to a few people, but I really liked her in the film.
She ended up being great. I thought I was going to be like, yeah, who is this? But I really loved her. I thought she was super sweet and fun, and yeah, I thought it was great.
Scarlet Witch was a pleasant surprise for me because I hadn't watched the last couple trailers, so I didn't even know that was a thing. And she's on the table.
That's the only thing about that movie that I think you would need to see that WandaVision series to get the full breadth of the emotional weight there. And that's my only problem really with the movie.
Yeah, I guess that would be my other nitpick. I mean, granted, if you live on the internet and like me and didn't watch it, I feel like obviously there's a lot of holes I would need to fill in, but I know the main beats because the fucking second the show aired, everyone spoiled it on Twitter.
Well, yeah.
I mean, again, missing a lot of the meat on the bone, but I know the main beats. So it's like, okay, yeah, if I watched that show, some of the things that happen in the film, yeah, you're 100% right, have a more of an emotional impact. But I still was like, okay, I get what's happening.
Because like the idea of going into that and having no clue about what her central role is or her motivation, you're like, what the fuck is
if
this?
If you didn't even have an anchor, like if you just didn't know WandaVision was a thing and you were like, well, the last one I saw was Endgame. Wait, what?
Even if you saw Spider-Man, you wouldn't know what the fuck is going on.
That's true, yeah.
I mean, you can watch it without seeing WandaVision, but again, it elevates the plot.
Right, because they do show some things that kind of clue you in if you're not. Yeah. Because I know my wife hadn't watched it either. Yeah. And she was like, okay, I get the gist.
Yeah.
I guess other things I would want to mention about it is like the fight, the music fight, I'll say.
You beat me to it, man. The music note fight was like one of my favorite parts. I thought that was so fucking cool,
I was kind of two minds of it. I was like, all right, this feels random, but like it's so cool. I don't care, especially the way that they played with the different music. Like the one guy's using the darker kind of music for lack of a better term, and Strange is using like more upbeat stuff. I thought it was a very good parallel in that scene without just giving the goose away.
I think it was Bach, right? That they played.
Yeah.
I forget what the name of what the name of the piece was.
I was trying to hear some Moonlight Sonata. I don't know if we got any of that. I'd have to watch it again.
It was so cool, and it felt very comic booky and very Raimi, and there's a lot of great horror elements to it that I really liked. I thought it was fucking sick. I thought it was a great movie.
I will say that I saw
fun movie.
Yes, a lot of people were like, "This movie is not your normal Marvel movie," and so that kind of like set a weird expectation for me going into it. I guess you could make that argument a little bit, but I saw people straight up saying this movie's gory, this is a horror film, and I saw it and I was like, well, there's definitely some stuff in there that's like more. The multiverse is falling apart, Joe!
It's collapsing.
People were saying this was like, more of a horror film than I think it was, but there's definitely elements where I can kind of see where people are coming from, but it set like a weird expectation for me where I was expecting like, oh yeah, Sam Raimi, of course, he's going to be chopping people's heads off.
Well,
So
without getting too deep into the weeds,
it's hard.
Without getting too deep into the weeds, it's Disney, right?
At the end of the day,
I think they pushed the envelope as far as they could. With that, and it was cool. Like I liked. It was dark. It was darker than something we've had since like Endgame.
Yeah, I mean, especially the two big fight scenes, the end one and the
one.
Oh
my goodness, yeah,
they
were so
the one
good.
I'm not going to get into, but yeah, those two in particular, I guess I can kind of see where people are coming from, and. Since this isn't really a Doctor Strange 2 review.
No, I just wanted to get those thoughts out there because we don't really get to do that to talk about it. And we're doing fucking Doctor Strange 1978. Might as well talk about the new one.
There are other things I thought were really cool in the movie that I just can't say because it would ruin things.
Sure.
But hey, the last 20 minutes was fucking amazing. Put it that way.
Yeah, it's real good. So if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out.
Yeah.
But today we're talking about the Doctor Strange from 1978.
That I didn't even know existed until Joe told me about it.
This was a made-for-TV movie.
You don't say!
You don't say! So before we get into the backstory of that, this was put out on VHS. Like, it was on television, then it was put on VHS, I believe, in like 88 or something like that. And then Shout Factory just unearthed it and put it on Blu-ray. So they cleaned it up fairly well. I mean, it's a pretty nice transfer.
Yeah, I would say, especially for a made-for-TV thing, I was like, wow, this looks pretty fucking good.
Yeah, especially like this archival thing that like, who the fuck would dig that up and restore it?
Shout.
Talking about Metal Beast.
Somebody should do that.
But we're talking about Doctor Strange. But so this is made for TV, like I said.
Yeah.
1978. Now, Stan Lee, even then, was working closely on these projects.
Okay.
Right? So this is one that I hadn't seen until I actually got this Blu-ray, so I was very excited to pick it up. And he went to say it like this was one of the films or the projects where he had a lot of input in, and they listened to him a lot, like making it. And the other one was The Incredible Hulk. And those are his two favorite Marvel incarnations of the 70s.
That kind of makes me a little upset, to be honest, because like I don't want to like tell my full opinion right up front here, but like, hey Stanley, I love you, R.I.P. Maybe you should have kept your fucking hands off of this one, because maybe there's a reason why this never got made into a TV show.
You need to understand. First of all, let's all get in front of it right now. This is 1978, made for television superhero film.
Yes.
Okay, we've had Lou Ferrigno as the Hulk so far. We had What's-His-Fuck as Captain America, which was real bad.
Yeah.
And the Spider-Man show, which was fucking terrible too.
True.
Right? So, in the context of the time period and the other adaptions that were out at the time, this fucking rules. In my opinion.
Okay, well, that's not my opinion.
Okay.
But I'm glad that you had a good time.
But, like, comparatively to what?
Because I think the Hulk's fucking awesome.
The Hulk is good, but when's the last time you watched it?
Probably 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I guess, maybe I'm due for rewatch just to see. But...
Because there is... What this does, though, for being on television, again, like I mentioned earlier, all the psychedelia around this and the visuals, and
yes, I'll give you that. The visuals are very cool.
It's pretty fucking ambitious for a television movie, and they gave him a lot of money to work with, the director of this.
I don't know how much you want to talk about the actual plot of this.
We can talk about it a little bit. Again, this is a ripe review.
Yes. It's basically the gist of it is, I guess I'll call this a plot crunch, is Doctor Strange. He's like a psychiatrist in this one, or a psychologist. He works at the hospital.
Yeah, in the psych ward, right. Which is a little strange because it's like, okay, it's Doctor Strange. It's a little strange because it's like, why are we changing that?
Yeah,
anyway.
I guess I could see it if it did become a series, like they could play into that more. So I kind of was like thinking about it from that standpoint.
Oh yeah, well that makes sense.
Anyway. But yeah, he basically, unbeknownst to him, is like this chosen successor to become the next Sorcerer Supreme. I don't know if they actually ever call it that in the show. They just call it like the next Sorcerer.
Yeah, or
movie rather. And then he's kind of he meets this guy, I think his name's like Limrad or Limrad, basically the current sorcerer.
Yeah.
And he meets Wong. I
like how Wong's in this.
Wong's very good in this. Yeah. And he basically faces off against this, not the Scarlet Witch, but Morgan Le Fay, who's like a classic Doctor Strange villain.
Well, she's a classic villain, but I couldn't see anywhere where she actually faced off against Doctor Strange as like one of his main enemies. She is like more of an enemy to like, I think she appears in like Black Knight.
Oh, okay.
Specifically,
I was super familiar with the name, but I guess I was just kind of guessing at that one.
Well, she's an Avengers villain.
Got ya.
You know what I mean?
She's also played by Jessica Walter.
Oh my God, she is fucking babing in this movie, dude.
Which, if you don't know who that is, it's fucking Lucille Bluth from fucking Arrested Development.
The matriarch of the Bluths.
Yeah, in her younger days.
The voice of Archer's mother.
Yep.
The voice of Fran Sinclair from Dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah.
Which is relevant for another episode.
R.I.P. to her, too. She died recently.
Yeah.
And then we have, I guess that's basically the plot, and they kind of go back and forth throughout.
Yeah. So Morgan Le Fay is trying to kill the next Sorcerer Supreme.
Right.
To be so that they can bring like the dark dimension into our world or something like that.
Right, because she has some kind of like devil adjacent kind of like like Dormammu, but they don't ever call him that kind of demon that's telling her you got to do this.
I guess it's Dormammu. They never name it.
I looked in the Wikipedia page, and they mentioned like the Ancient One, but then there's a scene at the end I think was actually the Ancient One. Yeah, the Ancient One is actually played by the guy who was married to Barbara Eden. I forget his fucking name. Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, he's only in there for like a second or something like that.
He gets a line at the end.
Yeah, and that's it.
But the guy that plays Doctor Strange is Peter Hooten, who was like one of the main characters in Orca.
Yeah.
He was like why is his name escaping me? Richard Harris is like first mate or whatever.
Yeah. He's also in Night Killer.
Never saw that.
It's another Claudio Fragrasso, Umberto Lenzi joint.
Okay.
So
my ears are peaked.
So it's like this Italian like kind of like giallo slasher thing going on where this guy runs around in like a rubber Freddy mask and kills people. But in Italy, it was released as Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Is it an improvement? I mean, I guess we don't have Ken Forey with the machine gun in the woods.
it's a bonkers flick, dude.
Okay,
so
okay.
yeah.
You say rubber mask with a face, I immediately think of what was it, Alice Sweet Alice, or not Alice Sweet. Well, I guess that also is like that. But what's the one with the duck? The duck, the New York Ripper.
Oh, New York Ripper.
Yeah. But I don't know, like this movie. See, this is my problem with this film.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like it takes like way too long to get going, in my opinion. Again, I get it. It's made for TV. They're in hopes of eventually turning it into a TV show. I get that. Again, it's made for TV.
Yeah.
But it's like mostly like a fucking medical procedural for most of this.
I'm kind of into it because there's a lot of like backstory here.
Mm-hmm.
We're setting up the character, and we have to set up the other characters too. We have to set up
Sure.
the main sorcerer, and we got to set up Morgan Le Fay, who she is, what she's doing, even though she basically just wants to fuck Doctor Strange.
That came out of left field,
Yeah.
unless I just missed something.
Well, no, she's because she's been like this. You got to remember, like Morgan Le Fay has been around since like the Arthurian times,
Right.
and so like she was right there with like Merlin and shit.
Okay.
So when she went over to the other side or whatever and like absorbed the dark powers, and they made her immortal, but she wasn't able to like love a mortal man or something like that.
Yeah.
So she's basically missing the D is what it is.
Well, we even get that in the in the movie. We have basically that bad guy, the Dormammu demon thing is threatening her throughout. If you don't do what I want you to, or if you don't do what I'm asking you to do, I'm gonna make you look old.
I'm gonna turn you into an old bitch.
Yeah. I'm gonna turn you into GVD minus the wheelchair.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, she's a horny woman. You know what I mean,
maybe that's it. Maybe Morgan Le Fay is GVD.
Yeah.
Turns her into an old woman. She flies away on a wheelchair. That's why she's a sexual deviant. Just real quick, because I wanted to talk about that Dormammu, not Dormammu. He's fucking cool, man. He's like this weird eldritch horror with like 4 eyes, and like he's like stop motion, but he's like shrouded in like this mist and like red lights and stuff. It's fucking cool.
He almost looks like a lava monster.
He's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind of the coolest effect for me. That and like this like astral plane we get to later in the film.
Oh, it's so awesome.
Cool.
I really like that.
But yeah, so like Morgan Le Fay, she's like on Earth, but it's like a lot of like implied like she's not actually there. It's almost like her astral projection, but maybe she's there because they kind of, I feel like they go back and forth on that a few times.
She's walking between dimensions, but also has to possess people too.
Yeah, because she's trying to
sort of.
She's trying to kill the current sorcerer, Linmer, who's just like this old guy who actually I thought was kind of funny. He has like, it's not verbatim, but a similar haircut or hairstyle to the actual Doctor Strange with the white on the side.
Yeah.
But this guy's just like, okay, so this is like the worst stunt double in the world, by the way.
Oh, like it's thrown over the bridge?
This is like, they don't even try to make him look like the old man. And they show this like 3 fucking times in the movie. And I'm like, guys, I know it was probably like one of your only like legit stunts in the film, but it looked horrible the first time. It looked worse the second time from a different camera angle. And then the third time they just reused one of the shots. I'm like, why are you showing this horrible stunt double so many fucking times?
I fucking liked it, dude. I loved when he went over because you just see like this old man laying in the fucking street and this guy almost hits him with his car. And like the whole time he's just like, oh my God, I didn't know. He just jumped right in front of me.
Yeah.
He fell off a fucking bridge.
Yeah, Clea that gets her mind taken over.
That's weird too, because like Clea in the comics is, I believe, Dormammu's daughter.
That's what I read too.
Yeah.
But they don't go into that at
also,
all.
Doctor Strange's squeeze. So like it makes sense for her in name to be the love interest, but like it's also kind of weird.
Like I would love to know like what the plans were going forward if this did take off. Like was that going to become a plot point?
I mean, it must be because like I feel like Morgan chose her specifically to like take over her body, and then from then on out, since Morgan like possessed her or whatever, she had like her third eye was open basically, and she was perceptive to all like the different magic and stuff.
Yeah, so then I do love though, like you said, the guy laying on the ground, and everyone thinks he's dead. And he just gets up like Herman Munster when he gets his, you know the scene. I'm talking about,
Just
bends over and
yeah.
gets hit in the head with the car.
And he just holds onto his fucking hip and like heals it with his powers.
Oh yeah, that actually is kind of cool.
It's
Every
really
time
cool.
he uses his power, his hand like lights up golden.
Yeah.
And then like you go to like his sanctum. What do they call it?
The Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yeah, and it's like I was talking about that stained glass, but it's like this symbol.
I think it's the symbol of light is what it's called.
Okay.
By the way, the fucking soundtrack in this is just bumping, dude. It is like synth-driven psychedelic rock, and I'm fucking here for it.
I'm pretty sure Electric Wizard sampled like one of the songs, like not the actual like soundtrack, but there's like, or rather, there's one song in particular that has like a kind of a slow rise to it. I think they only play it like once.
Yeah.
But I swear to God, that particular part of the song, Electric Wizard used in something. But the rest of it is, I will agree, pretty good. It's like a good funk, electronic techno kind of mix.
Yeah, it's cool, man. And maybe they used one of the patches or something from
It's
from
possible.
the synth that was used.
We get a lot of like back and forth with Linmer and Doctor Strange working, and they kind of play up how Strange is constantly late for meetings.
Yeah, which I like because he's like a pompous asshole, but like not the one from the comics or from the new movies. Like he's like
an original version of the character, or like
he looks like you.
a little bit. If I
Yeah.
had a mustache and my hair was a little poofier. Yeah, back in high school it was more like that.
So Sean as Doctor Strange is Peter Hooten in this film.
Do I get the powers?
Well, you got to get that fucking ring,
Do
dude.
I get to almost fuck Jessica Walter?
Oh,
Almost. It almost
maybe.
happens. He's got the tip in before he decides to back
yeah,
out.
he's like, wait, it's a little cold. Let me pull it up.
That happens later in the movie.
Yeah, because that's her main goal. She's like, she wants to kill the Sorcerer Supreme or the protege thereof, but like also wants to fuck him. So like that's her dilemma.
Because we have like this whole thing.
He's just too damn handsome, that Peter Hooten.
Yeah, I mean, hey, even the orca wanted him.
He's got this ring.
Yeah.
And that I don't know how that ties in really, because I guess that's one of those points that they were going to explain in the series, because he has this ring. We don't know where it came from exactly. His name's Linman, right?
Linman or Linmer, but he does say, because it's the same symbol on the
it's the same
glass.
Yeah, it's the symbol of light or whatever it's called. And that is supposed to be like a birthright to be the next Sorcerer Supreme, but like he has no idea. Like, how did he get that fucking ring?
Well,
they never really explain it.
They do say at one point that his parents gave it to him, and then his parents were killed in like an automobile accident.
Yeah.
And Linmer's like, well, I believe that accident was intended for you, and you staying home was like the best thing that could have happened. And he's like, well, my fucking parents are still dead, but okay. I guess they can become the Sorcerer Supreme. Whatever.
That's fine.
Because they get hooked up eventually. Like a bunch of stuff does happen, but it's kind of like inconsequential in my opinion, where it's just like Strange meets Clea. She goes into like a coma.
It's a lot of relationship building between these characters.
But the thing is, like, that's key is Strange basically has like a dream that was that whole like bridge sequence where Linmer gets pushed over the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And when he meets Clea for the first time, he's like, wait, have I seen you before? And then he does the same thing with Linmer later, and he's like, wait, do I know you?
Which was cool because if you watched Multiverse of Madness, I feel like that might have been a callback to this film. I feel like that's a Raimi thing, man.
It totally
big time. Yeah, because he's like dream fasting. I call it dream fasting because like the fucking Dark Crystal. That's what they call it.
Okay.
But like they're able to like astral project and invade each other's dreams or link to each other's dreams.
Well, that's 100% what's happening.
Oh yeah. I love when he brings him into the Sanctum Sanctorum and he's like you're gonna be the new Sorcerer Supreme and we have to take you on an astral journey. Here we go. And he just like basically the fucking hit out of the body into this fucking like green screened like tunnel of like psychedelic lights and shit. I thought that was fucking cool, man.
That was cool. Where he's like floating around like a jackass, like whoa, like spinning around.
But while he's in there, he gets attacked by like this one of Morgan Le Fay's cronies. This guy on a fucking horse, this demon on a horse.
Bella is a Thor or something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's from the comics or anything.
Yeah, I think that was from Leaping Leprechauns actually.
She sends him to like kill them, and he ends up like knowing how to like deflect that thing's magic and be like, oh, by the power of the demon realm and whatever, see you later. And then he just like fucks off.
Yeah, because Lindmer teaches him that. Like says it once. He's like, repeat it back, and then he knows it. I'm like, I mean, it wasn't the most complicated incantation, but like the first line is a little like, wait, can I get that a second time?
Well, to your point, that's like a big part of the Doctor Strange character. That's why he's so fucking smart, because he
picks
has,
up
like,
on stuff quick.
Yeah, like, do you remember in that first movie too?
True.
Where he's like reading all the stuff and like all of a sudden knows he, more advanced than he should be.
Yeah, no, that
so
does make
quickly.
sense. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Because he does get sent in that astral plane because, I mean, him and Clea kind of have a back and forth throughout the film. Like, he thinks, they're into each other.
Yeah.
But now she's like in a coma and they can't wake her up. And they don't know what to do. And come to find out, similar to Insidious, actually, he's in a different realm, or her soul's in a different realm, her astral body. And that's why he goes in there. Yeah. And you're right. He does like save her and he scares off the demon.
Right.
And they get brought back. And then it's just like, okay, I saved her. And then he's like, Lindmer's like, okay, are you ready to take the power on? He's like, no. I'm good. I have this ring and everything. It's like lining up a little too much.
That was fun and everything, but I don't know about this.
And meanwhile, Juan's like, because he's like talking shit to Lindmer, and he's like, oh, don't talk to the master like that. And he's like, why you call him master? And he's like, God, because he's taught me fucking like magic. I don't know. What do you think?
Because we're still doing the Wong thing where it's like he's his friend, but he's also his valet.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's the 70s. We also had that with Bruce Lee and the Green Hornet.
Yeah, big time.
That was like a thing.
Kato.
Yeah, and like the old comics, he was more of like a butler. He could do the mystic arts, but from what I've read, that was part of his character more so.
I love him in the new movies. I think he's great.
Oh yeah, Benedict Wong is great. The way they portray him.
Literal Wong.
Yeah. That's funny to me.
So Morgan Le Fay comes and like basically gives him an ultimatum. She's like, I'm gonna kill Clea, or you're gonna come with me to this astral plane.
Well, that's after she has a wizard's duel with Lindmer, who's in this fucking yellow robe.
Dude, that's such a great scene, man. When she comes up and she like, man, I cannot stress the fact that how hot she is in this getup.
I get it.
She is fucking babing. But she basically breaks into the sanctorum.
Well, she pretends to be a cat.
As a cat, but it's this creepy ass scene where this cat like grows into this person. It's fucking weird looking.
Wong up.
Oh, she beats Wong's ass and lights him on fire.
Yeah. Oh my God, I wasn't expecting that. I was like kind of half surprised that Wong, even though everything I just said, I was kind of surprised with the way they had set it up, that he actually did shoot her with a beam first, and she just deflects it right back at him. And then she kind of does the same thing to Lindmer upstairs. And and then we go to what you just said.
Lindmer's in this fucking Gandalf cloak. He looks like Jimmy Page from Song Remains the Same.
Or like one of those monks from the background of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. He like conjures his power and shoots her, and she's just laughing her ass off. Man, when she was like in her prime then, like her voice is just so like...
It's different than you may be used to if you've seen her in more recent stuff.
It's like this. It's like this commanding, like scary kind of voice. But it's very. I love it.
No, I
it's
agree.
Creepy and it works really well. And she just laughs at him and fucking zaps his ass. Pushes his fucking power back at him and zaps him down and then like locks him up in the fucking dark dimension.
Yeah, ties him up in a fucking tree branch.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. So then she gives Strange that ultimatum, and he basically, his astral body, I guess, goes with her. Like they blink out,
and she's seducing the fuck out of him. And she's like, hey, what do you say we leave Clea back there and you give me a little something.
She's doing like one of these, and he's like, I feel funny. Ignore the hand. Well, Lindmer, speaking up, because that made me think of it, he's doing some fucking Jedi mind tricks in this movie. On some of the other doctors, because he's like walking in with this hand drawing of Clea, and he's like, have you seen this woman? And they're like, well, we can't really tell you. He's like, tell me. And they're like, she's right this way.
Yeah, he's taking over their minds or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I like that. See, well, it sounds like you're liking a lot of these parts.
Now that I'm talking about it, I guess I liked it more than I realized at the time. I guess my issue with this overall, and then we can kind of like finish up with
we'll just wrap it up,
is that I just think it's just boring for a lot of it, for me.
I totally understand that. We'll get to that in final thought, though.
But yeah, so then he's about to like, he starts kissing her. He's like, oh, your lips are very cold.
Dude, he lays her down. He's got that fucking strange dick hard and ready to go.
And then they don't do it.
He's like, wait a minute.
And she like gives him like this fucking necklace and the robe. She's like, oh yeah, there's this Doctor Strange comic over here. Yeah, something like that.
Rule with me in the dark dimension. And he's like, that sounds pretty good, actually. And then he sees fucking Linmer tied up in the tree.
With his eyes all like blackened out. Like, holy shit, is this guy even alive?
Yeah.
But I guess it's his astral form, as we come to find out.
Yeah, because I think his body's back at Sanctum Sanctorum. So yeah, they have their light duel with their red and gold beams.
That was cool.
And he like pushes her, he like shoots her off into the distance. She like flies away or something.
It's kind of random. It just kind of wraps up because it's like, yeah, I think he does do that, and then he just like grabs Linmer and like teleports back.
He shoots her off, and then grabs Linmer, teleports back, and then she comes back. She's like, "Where'd he go?" And then Dormammu, is like, "You stupid bitch, Morgan, you failed me for the last time," and then makes her an old woman.
Yeah. And she's like, "Why? No, don't take my youth." And then he's back at the Sanctum with Linmer and Wong's just coming to, and he comes up, and
I was so happy. I was like, Wong's not dead.
Yeah. So. And then Linmer's like, all right, now do you want to do it? He's like, yes. He's like, well, why didn't you just ask me before? He's like, you had to make the choice yourself. Like, okay.
You had to dip a little bit into the demon lady and then go into the astral plane, save me.
He's like, oh yeah, I lost to her on purpose because I knew you'd come through. I was like, all right, Linmer, give me a break.
I don't think so, old man.
You knew that Doctor Strange was gonna go out, leave the Sanctum, see a cat outside, pick it up, put it past the barrier that's like this electric fence that he had, this invisible fence.
Which is kind of neat.
Yeah, you knew all that.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, whatever.
His aura let me into the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yeah.
How'd you get in here, lady?
So then he's like, all right, we're ready to do the transmutation. I'm sitting there at this point now, I'm like scratching my head. I'm like, I don't know what's happening, but I guess I'm just gonna watch. And then this fucking glowing cube comes out of the ground, and then they're like, all right,
it's the popcorn bucket from the Multiverse of Madness promo at AMC.
Oh, obviously. But I don't even understand this. Maybe I missed the line, but they're like, we need something for the transmutation. And he's like, what about these robes LaFay gave me? They're like, those will do. I'm like, okay, all right, what's happening? And then like, it happens.
Yeah, he gets his Doctor Strange outfit from Morgan.
Yeah. Basically for the comics, except the colors are like not accurate. It's like, he's got a yellow cape, and instead of a blue shirt, it's kind of purple. With not exactly. I guess it's a symbol from the show on the chest.
Oh, I don't know what he looks like right now in the comics.
I looked it up, and it was black. It was not black. It was the red cape with the blue.
Oh, it was.
But it was like one of the symbols on his chest.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, I don't know where they got. Maybe they couldn't find a red material that looked good. Whatever.
Or maybe they were just doing it,
mixing it up a little for the TV version.
Who the fuck knows?
Also, during this whole scene, I don't know if this is just me, but like, Peter Hooten just seemed like some of the dialogue, maybe like he looked like he was about to fucking laugh during this entire sequence. And I'm like, Peter, you're doing a good job, but what's happening right now?
He finally like gets the powers, or now he's Doctor Strange.
Well, he sucks the life out of Linmer, basically.
Yeah, pretty much, and to pass it off. And like, then we dick around. Okay, now we dick around for a little bit.
Again,
for another 10 minutes where he's like talking to Clea, and like they have like a back and forth that they had like earlier
it's
in
like a literal repeat because I guess she doesn't remember it.
Yeah, because like she was taken over by Morgan and stuff, which is kind of cute or whatever. Again, she's just a normal woman, so I guess they had plans to make her, to make her another like magic arts or mystic arts user.
But you're right, so that he walks her home, and she's like, oh, I don't know if I could go on a date. You're like, because she's going to be a psychology student, and she's going to like work under him.
Well, she's also his patient, so like that's the whole joke. And then he's like, you're not my patient anymore. Hey, let's go, let's hit it. Yeah. But the way that this ends, as he walks into the sunset, and he passes this fucking magician that's like doing like magic in the middle of the Central Park or this park or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, and now I'm going to pull a bunch of flowers out of my thing. And Doctor Strange, Peter Hooten's there, and he's like, and he does this little magic thing and turns the flowers into a dove. And it fucking holds on Peter Hooten's face. And he's just like,
hey, let's do it. I can pretend I have a jacket. Since you said it,
there you go.
It turns into like a drawing and the symbols behind him.
It's fucking cool. And then we get a lot of that good music kicking back up again. So yeah, what after talking through it again, like what's your final thoughts on this film?
I don't hate it. I'm just like, I mean, I make the comment about, hey, Stan Lee, you should have kept your fucking hands out of the cookie jar on this one, because
it is his character.
No, I listen, if I was him, I would want my hands in there too, but I just feel like I'm glad you liked it. And again, I don't hate it. It's fine. I'm never gonna watch it again.
Sure.
I just, it had a lot of potential, in my opinion, based on some of the things in here. Like Peter Hooten, I think kind of nails what he was given, and like all the acting's fairly solid. I mean, I think there's some bad ADR in a few scenes, but that's nobody's fault. I think it's some of those outside shots.
Yeah.
Why I'm going into that, I don't know, but it's like I would have loved to see that series, and I feel like the movie just took a shit. So they were like, nope, ain't happening. But who really knows? I mean, I'm going off of what I'm reading online. Maybe there was other circumstances surrounding it that caused that not to happen. I'm just kind of like, I'm glad I watched it, but I would have preferred the TV series because, again, I really like that Hulk series. Granted, I haven't watched it in a hot minute. Maybe it doesn't hold up, but that would have been cool. And I feel like maybe Doctor Strange missed an opportunity to be more in the public eye at an earlier point in time. Because, like, I'll be perfectly honest with you. If I wasn't reading comics in the 2000s and that movie came out, I would have been like, who the fuck is Doctor Strange? Like,
but he's such a huge player, though.
Yeah. Like, even Iron Man, I guess some people would argue, is a little obscure for casual fans. But, like, even that.
Casual moviegoers, maybe.
Sure, but, like, Doctor Strange is like, who? What? Who?
Yeah.
So I feel like it was a missed opportunity, but I guess I don't really blame anybody that worked. And I just kind of wish the story was a little bit faster moving. And hey, the effects are cool, especially for a made for TV thing.
Yeah.
I would have liked a little more. Less medical procedural and more him learning how to be Doctor Strange.
Sure. I like this. Now, the reason I like it is because it's this weird time capsule. I have a big soft spot for we are so fucking spoiled now with the advent of technology and special effects and all that kind of stuff to bring these characters to the screen. Right? So we're getting this huge, magnificent representation in movies now of these superheroes. They can fucking fly, they can fucking bend dimensions, they can, turn into monsters or whatever, And this is super ambitious, I feel like, for not only a superhero movie in 1970, because Star Wars comes out the year before, so everybody's hot to trot on that kind of stuff, like the special effects heavy stuff. But, to be not only this superhero movie in 1978, but also to give it a budget where they can kind of push the special effects for this TV movie. Yeah. Which is pretty advanced for the time. Again, for a television movie.
No, yeah,
right?
Yeah,
this isn't like it's not like a super big budget movie or like that's going to come out in theaters, but it's like made for TV.
We're not talking Superman or
anything. No, I mean
like
the fucking thing is in 4:3 for Christ's sake. Even the original camera negative is in 4:3, right? Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I love the score like a lot. It's very cozy for me, and it's this weird thing where like it has this air about it of like it feels like the comics kind of. At the time, like if you go back and you read those like comics from the 60s and 70s, it kind of feels like that. Yeah, another big thing was the sets. When we go into the dark dimension, dude, like you can see like the way that everything's done with like the matte paintings and how they're just like in space on this rock, like it looks like the comics. And that's another thing too. So like talking about the Multiverse of Madness again, like in that movie, like when we see the book and shit like that, like where that is, I don't want to spoil that too much, but like when you actually see those pieces and places in the multiverse in between, it looks just like that, which I thought was really neat. And like, I don't know, me and my roto light effects, I fucking love them.
I mean, I'm into them,
and they're bountiful in this. As far as the how the plot kind of plays out and the pacing of it isn't great, but again, we're trying to build these characters up in this, hour and a half TV movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're trying to establish Strange as a person, but also as somebody who's going to inherit these powers. But we're also trying to establish these powers in general through this other Sorcerer Supreme, and bring Wong into it, and bring Clea into it because she's going to be a main player of the series.
And we keep Morgan in it as we find out.
And we keep Morgan at the end. Yeah, so she's not dead. So she's also, I guess, was going to be another main villain that would run through the series.
Yeah.
I don't know. Cozy is a good word for me. Like I like a lot of cheesy 70s shit. So this is right up my alley. And again, it's kind of fun to have like this dime store version of Doctor Strange. again, for the time, it was this awesome spectacle. Again, especially for TV.
Oh yeah.
But I think it takes a lot of chances. I think the cinematography is really fucking good, like better than it has any right to be. It almost has this like Euro feel,
A little bit,
to it. They make use of the camera angles and shots like really well. I mean, in my opinion,
I think the Sanctum looks pretty cool.
The Sanctum looks fucking awesome. And when we're in there, it's always this crazy, like there's always like some kind of like Dutch angle or some kind of weird like dolly that goes through something and into something else. And I love all the early green screen stuff is cool too.
Yeah, like it looks the green screen looks great. I mean, like better than you would expect.
Yeah, and Peter Hooten and Jessica Walter are fucking bringing it. They are so committed to this movie. And I
would
think,
even argue whoever played Wong and Lindmer, I thought were great too.
Well, yeah, everybody's bringing it, really.
Yeah.
But like those two especially, I feel like they're taking it, very seriously and really do. They're not cheesing it up.
No,
I mean it is the 70s, but like it's not. There's no intentional cheese going on here. So
I mean, we do get kind of a Darth Vader towards the end,
well,
but
yeah,
that's just Jessica Walter trying to like show how upset she is.
Yeah,
at the situation.
Seriously. Her laugh is fucking great too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a fun time. I know that the Shout and the Shout Factory DVD or Blu-ray rather looks fucking incredible, especially for like a made-for-TV movie that I didn't even know the fucking original vault materials were still hanging around on. But this is super limited too. I think there was 1,100 pressed.
I think they may have jumped it up to like 1,500 or like 2,000 because it was so many people wanted it.
So many people like it sold out. Yeah.
So it must be a popular title combined with that it's the first like good release of this.
Yeah.
Probably in a long ass time.
Big time. And I think out of those older Marvel properties being created in the the late 60s, early 70s, even late 70s with this one kind of stands out as being a more sophisticated take on a comic book character rather than say Spider-Man or Captain America or the Hulk.
Wonder Woman even.
Well, yeah.
Because like now that I'm thinking about that too, like that is a good point, Joe, about how it's like because you think like not until like Superman obviously was in the 70s, but I feel like people didn't even start taking superhero movies seriously until like maybe the 90s. Granted, and that's like post Batman and Batman Returns.
Yeah,
so
well, that's
like,
after that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's like in that respect, I totally get what you're saying. Like I stand by everything I said, but you're right. That is a good point about just like. I mean, superhero movies, people like just thought, oh, what a waste. This is going to suck.
Or this is for kids. You know what I mean? Like strictly for kids kind of shit.
So I don't know. I don't mean to get so hung up on the idea of what this show would have been because like whatever, it's done. It's over with. Now we have what we have. So, hey.
I mean, it could have been neat. I just think it's slightly ahead of its time because I don't think even though this was made in mind with the psychedelic drug movement and stuff of the 60s, like kind of spilling over into the 70s and stuff. It kind of captures that, especially that's what the character kind of not preyed upon, but was influenced by.
Sure.
Right. And going into that kind of the mystic arts and the what's that word I want to say?
Like the metaphysical,
the metaphysical aspects of your consciousness and the cosmos and all that kind of stuff and astral projection and OBEs and all that kind of shit. So it was definitely a weird character, and I'm surprised they chose that to make into a series or a TV movie rather.
Yeah.
But I think it's fucking cool, man. I think it's this weird little time capsule of something that could have been. And it failed miserably.
Yeah. I mean, hey, if you can get your hands on the Blu-ray or find a way to watch this, I
think it's on YouTube. The Blu-ray, if you can grab it. I mean, if you're if you like 70s stuff, 70s made for TV shit, you're gonna love this.
And if you're a Doctor Strange fan, it's kind of at least required viewing if you're
essential.
A fan.
Yeah. Or you can find it on tape, I guess, still somewhere.
It's not in the dungeon.
It's not in the dungeon. So yeah, that was Doctor Strange 1978, and we'll catch you on the next Ripe Reviews.